Hey everyone, my name is Stan Yanitsky, and today I'm going to go over a demo of Pure1 and show you some of the things that this tool can do to help you monitor and manage your storage environment. So the first thing that I'll start with is on the card view. Each one of these cards represents an individual array. Every one of our arrays has the capability of phoning home, and in fact the vast majority of arrays do. We do a number of things with this information that gets phoned home. Part of it we use to build up our fingerprint engine, and that powers our proactive and predictive support models. We'll make sure to use those logs in order to keep your array in a healthy and happy state. The other thing we do is we provide you information of this log in our cloud-based platform. So there is nothing to install when you use Pure1. Everything is cloud-based, and the logs simply get populated as soon as the arrays phone home. Now this environment that we're looking at is our actual internal environment. So we use our own arrays to run our infrastructure. So this is an actual working environment that you're seeing here. The first thing you'll see is we have a number of arrays. Right now we're sorting on %full here. You can sort on a number of different options, but %full is a great example of how you can quickly and easily see if there's an issue with capacity in your fleet. So this array is 91% full. We change the color and we give you a health status. You could also see a notification here on the card. You can flip it and you'll see what notifications exist on this array. This is the card view. Now if we go to the expanded card view, what you'll see is we have a number of different types of arrays. So Pure1 is our single pane of glass for all of our products, whether it's a flash blade, if you have a multi-chassis flash blade, flash array X, flash array M, flash array C, all of our products, it's our core mission to make sure that you have accessibility in Pure1 for every one of our products. And then finally we have tags where you can go and tag your array, and then that'll allow you to apply a filter. We have some properties that are predefined based on inherent features of the array, and the tags that you can build out are custom tags, fully customizable on the key and value side, so it's a simple key value pair, and you can create your own keys, your own values. Then you could filter on any of these tags, any of these properties, and ultimately what you can do is create a view for one of these properties. So let's just say that you want to see all the arrays in Sunnyvale. You could apply that filter, you could save this as a view, and you could pin this to apply across all pages in Pure1. So if we go to the dashboard page, we now see that that filter carries over. That's basically the experience that somebody with a view applied will get, but they won't see that filter and they won't be able to remove it. So it's a great way to manage what arrays a particular user can see. But now that we're on the dashboard page, this is a great time to talk about what you can see here. So the card view is an individual view of your entire fleet, whereas the dashboard is an aggregated view of your fleet. So you have your total capacity, some high-level stats about your fleet. Right now, this is only taking into account the arrays that are located in Sunnyvale, but if I clear my filter here, you'll see it'll update to include all of the arrays that we have available. Let's just keep that Sunnyvale filter on. Here we see our projected capacity. So this is our first foray into what we do with our Pure1 Meta product. That's our predictive analytics product, and we'll tell you at a high level when we see some arrays that are going to be 100% full from a capacity side or from a load or a performance side. Then you have your top 10 performance charts across your environment. It's based on, these are customizable, so you could choose whether you want to look at an array, pod, volume, or file system, and you could choose which metric you want to keep track of. So it's a pretty handy tool. The idea there is that you can check in once a day. You could see what the change from the previous day was and a bit of a spark line to give you a feeling of what the trend is. You'll have your recent updates, so this is any alerts or case updates. And then finally at the bottom you have some protection information for snapshots, for file systems, or volume snapshots, file systems, and your overall replication status. Heading over to the performance page, you have a number of performance metrics. So we keep 30 days worth of history in Pure1, and we keep 30-second granularity for that full 30 days. So we have an array here selected, dog food shoe. It's got our highest load. So you can see we have our latency, IOPS, and bandwidth. And load is probably the most interesting metric here. Load, we get a lot of customers asking for CPU utilization of the array, but when an array is doing dedupe, when an array is doing all these background tasks, often CPU utilization isn't a great metric to make decisions. So load takes that metric, takes all the background operations and distills it into a single metric so you can actually go and make decisions based on this value. So this is a very powerful tool, and in fact, we do all our performance projections based on load. You can also see information about your volumes, pods, and file systems. You'll see very similar information here. On the capacity side of things, you'll be able to click and sort on a number of these categories. So whether you're looking at volumes, file systems, or shared, and then you can select an array and see the historical trend on that. For the planning tool, we have another session here at Accelerate where we will go into a lot more detail. So I'll just do a quick high-level overview. But if we're looking at dog food shoe, we can see that this array is going to be pretty close to full in a reasonably short amount of time. We could also swap over to the chart view and look at our fleet on this chart where it'll be pretty clear to see that this array is kind of in the danger zone right now. And based on the trend, we know that we want to do something to it. So you can go ahead and simulate hardware. So here you can simulate controller changes, you can add capacity, and we kind of let you know what will happen to that array. And then you'll also be able to simulate workload. So whether you want to reduce, increase the workload on a particular volume, or potentially even move volumes off of that array onto another array, you can simulate those workloads and see what happens to your environment with those changes. Now, like I said, there's another demo in another session here that goes into a lot more detail about this, so I'm not going to cover this too much more in order to be able to cover some of the other things in Pure1. Next is the reporting tool. So this allows you to create and generate reports. Ultimately, you can schedule and deliver reports when you need them. So whether it's a weekly, monthly, or even daily report, you can have that and schedule it. On the VM topology front, this is our VMware environment. So this gives you the ability to view your whole infrastructure and identify VMs, figure out which array they're on, figure out which volume it's on. So there are lots of very powerful functionality here. And again, I'll defer to the other Accelerate sessions that we have to get into a little bit more detail. But this is a powerful tool to do any kind of troubleshooting and discovery work that you need in order to find information about your VMware infrastructure. Moving on to the protection page, you'll have your snapshots where you can see all of the snapshots that are taken on your volumes. So this is on a volume level. You can see what time the snapshot was taken, what the snapshot name is, the size, and the details about it. On the periodic, this gives you information about your protection groups. So now this makes sure that you have the information about whether or not any of these protection groups are delayed or if they're on time. And here it looks like everything's on time, so we're in a good state. The continuous aspect of it, now this is where we're getting into the FlashBlade replication. So these are object replica links, and you have the information you need in order to monitor your FlashBlade object replication. And finally, clustering. So this is our active cluster solution. You can monitor and track the status of your active cluster connection. And here we can see that we're in a green state all the way through, which is perfect. Finally, we have our messages endpoint. Here you'll see your alerts. You'll see your audit log, which is all the commands that were run on these arrays, and a session log on who's logged in, what location they logged in from, and how they logged in based on what interface. So these are all very powerful tools for audit purposes and in order to make sure that everything is being used properly. You have the ability to manage your cases in Pure1, so this is a great tool. You can also request the service. You can request an upgrade to your Purity software, so you can schedule an upgrade, and you'll have calendar access on all of this. You can use this tool to schedule an upgrade and select an available time slot. Finally, you can get most of the information that you see here via API, and we're constantly increasing our API capabilities. And you can get into the subscription page where you'll see the information about all your subscriptions. So this covers VM Analytics Pro, or Pure as a Service, as well as Cloud Block Store. And you'll be able to see support contracts here too. So whether your support contract is expired or when it will expire, in order for you to be able to stay on top of things. So thanks everyone for stopping by. This was a quick demo of Pure1, and please check out the other videos and sessions that we have for you at this Accelerate.